Hello, curious learners. In this lesson, we are going to solve equations for the variable of x in multiple step equations. So these equations will have steps that you need to do, more than just two steps in our previous lessons, and more than one in our others. We need to have a bit of background knowledge before you get started with this. You're going to need to know how to solve one-step equations. If you can solve one-step equations, I think you can probably follow the steps for all of this. If you know how to do two-step equations, even better. And if you are struggling with either of those two, there are definitely some lessons inside of this course for you on how to solve single-step equations, two-step equations, so that you can get a really good foundation before you start with this one. So let's get started. First off, how to solve multi-step equations. We are going to look at our equation and we're going to peel away the layers. Sometimes this is taught as the opposite of the order of operations. Both ways are fine, both ways are correct. I like to think of it as peeling away layers. And you're going to need to follow the three steps that I give you for solving equations. That's it. Let's go ahead and get started with our first example. Solving this equation. Here's our equation. 3x plus 2 equals 5 minus 1. Notice there's a lot of operations going on there. Well, first of all, what we want to do is to try and simplify anything that we can. So, you see over here we have a 5 minus 1. That's by itself on one side of the equal sign. We can simplify that. So in the next step, I'll list that as a 4. Nothing else can really be simplified, so we are going to go ahead and start with our steps. We find the variable x. We ask ourselves what happened to x, or what is connected to x. There's two things that happened. We are multiplying times 3 and we're adding 2. Because we solve in the opposite of the order of operations, we are going to list those in the opposite order. First, we're going to list the addition, and then last we're going to list the multiplication. Another way of thinking about this is we are going to peel away the layers. So when we look at what we need to do, minus 2 and divided by 3, we start at our variable and we move away. Let's peel this layer off, and then we can get the 3 away. The 3 is closer. It's harder to get away, so first we need to get rid of the 2. So in this step, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. Notice I changed the 5 minus 1 to being 4, as I stated before. So we're subtracting 2 from both sides of the equation. That keeps this balanced. Let's do it. 2 minus 2 is 0, leaving us with 3x on the left side, and 4 minus 2 is 2 on the right side. Now we have a pretty simple equation. This is a one-step multiplication equation. We are going to now divide both sides by 3 for our final answer, that x is equal to 0.66 repeated. All right, 2/3 is a fraction that's equal to 0.66. That's fine. It's a number. We'll use it. Now, sometimes when you do get a decimal answer, you want to make sure to check your solution. So that's exactly what we are going to do. We're going to check our work. We've got the equation here fully solved. We're going to take our solution, 0.6 repeated, and plug it into our equation for x. So instead of 3x, now we have 3 times 0.66 repeated. 0.66 repeated is also equal to 2/3. We multiply that times 3, we end up getting 2. Also, notice that I have simplified the right side of the equation. 5 minus 1 is 4. I always try and simplify first, make sure things are as simple as they can be. I know that that's an extra step, and that's actually the only thing that makes this equation more than a two-step equation, is that we do have to work on the other side of the equal sign as well. It's good practice. So is 2 plus 2 equal to 4? Yes, it is. We've found a solution. We've solved this equation. We're good to go. So the solution to the equation is x is equal to 2/3, or in other words, x is equal to 0.6 repeated. Now we're going to look at another equation. This one is 9x plus 7 minus 5 equals 13 plus 16. This has a lot of steps in this equation. It has multiplying times 9, adding 7, subtracting 5, and over here on the right side we have 13 plus 16. Before I move forward with finding my variable, asking what has happened or connected, I'm going to simplify things as much as I can. So I'm going to join those numbers together. 7 minus 5 is 2. 13 plus 16 is 29. Now that I've simplified the equation as far as I can go, I'm going to start following the 3 steps listed over here on the left. I'm going to find my variable. We need to start training our eyes to always look for that variable. In this case, our variable is x. The variable is just the letter that appears inside of the equation. Now we're going to ask what happened to x. Couple things happened here. This is now a 2-step equation. We have adding 2 and we have multiplying times 9. So I'm going to start by peeling away the layers. Notice that the plus 2 is kind of disconnected. The 9 is right there next to x, so that's closer connected. I peel away the 2 first, and then I can get at that 9x. So I subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. 29 minus 2 equals 27, and 2 minus 2 is 0, leaving us with 9x on the left. Now I divide both sides by 9 because the opposite of multiplying times 9 is dividing by 9. That will leave me with my x variable by itself, and 27 divided by 9 is equal to 3. Let's check this work. Whenever we have a complicated equation, it always helps to check our work. Let's go ahead and check it. I've put the equation over here on the left. I'm going to put our check over here on the right. I'm going to substitute x equals 3. That's what I think the solution is. I'm going to plug that into the original equation and see how it works out. Notice in my first step, I try and simplify. 13 plus 16. I don't want to write that over and over and over. I'm just going to make it equal to 29. But now I'm going to solve the left side of the equation, and I have to follow the order of operations. So first I'm going to do multiplication. 9 times 3 is 27. Then I'm going to do the addition, because it's addition and subtraction get done in one step from left to right. So I start with 27 plus 7, because that's there. And I end up with 34 minus 5, which is equal to 29. So there is my final solution, fully checked. I know that this answer is correct. X is equal to 3. Yay! All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another equation. This equation is a little bit more complicated. This is truly a 3-step equation. I have x plus 3 over 5 minus 4 is equal to negative 1. I'm incorporating some negatives in there. I'm incorporating addition, subtraction, and division. And all of that you see can't be joined together. So I can't simplify that any further. Let's go ahead and start solving. I'm going to look for my variable x, and I ask myself what happened to it or what is connected to it. There are 3 things that happen to it. So I'm going to list them in order of how close they are to my variable x. This one here is the farthest away. I can peel that off first. Minus 4. All right. I know the inverse of subtracting 4 is adding 4, so I'm going to leave that over there. Again, the minus 4 can be undone by subtracting 4. Then I have this down here, this 5. Well, if I multiply that times 5, I will eliminate that 5. And then I have my plus 3 that's really closely connected to my variable. That'll be the last thing that I'm able to get rid of. If you think about it in terms of peeling away layers, it kind of makes sense to me. If you also think about it in terms of order of operations, you would know that when you're solving this type of an expression, just the left side, you would have to first do what's on the top of the numerator of that fraction. Then you would divide by 5. Then you would subtract that 4. So again, peeling away layers or doing the opposite of order of operations, both will give you the same exact answer and the same order for solving this type of question. So let's go ahead and solve them again. These are the 3 steps. We're going to do them in order. First, we add 4 to both sides of the equation. Negative 1 plus 4 gives us positive 3. and the negative 4 and positive 4 cancel each other out. We're left with x plus 3 over 5 on the left side of the equation and 3 on the right side of the equation. Next, we're going to multiply times 5. So I have to multiply everything on the left side of the equation times 5 and everything on the right side of the equation times 5. Fortunately, this fraction, or any fraction, when you multiply times the same number as what's in the denominator, they cancel each other out, leaving me with x plus 3 on the left and 15 on the right. Now it's just a one-step addition equation. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides of this equation, leaving me with x on the left, and 15 minus 3 is 12. Now like all the other equations that we've done today, we are going to check our work. I highly encourage that you check your work every time. So here it is, our fully explained solution over here on the left, and I am going to take the original equation, x plus 3 over 5 minus 4 is equal to negative 1, and I'm going to substitute 12 into the equation where you see the letter x. Now to save space, I've just gone ahead and changed it right where it stands. So see, I just changed the x, is being equal to 12. Now I'm going to solve it following the order of operations. I start out by joining together the 12 and 3. 12 plus 3 is 15. Nothing else changes for that. Now I'm going to divide. 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3, and 3 minus 1 is equal, or 3 minus 4, is equal to negative 1. So I've gone ahead and solved that equation. Because the left side is equal to the right side, we know that the solution is that x is equal to 12. That's our full solution. Our answer is correct. We've double-checked our work. Perfect. So a quick recap on the types of things that you need to do to solve multi-step equations. 1. Peel away the layers. Another way of thinking about this is doing the opposite of the order of operations. Make sure that you follow those 3 steps that I gave you. Find your variable, ask yourself what happened or what's connected to your variable, and then undo it using the inverse operations. I hope that lesson was helpful for you. Have a wonderful day.